So we're shooting this video on how to use the Hydrodome setup. So again, it comes in this duffel bag. Don't mind the sound and the noise going on here, but this is going to be consistent with any leak detection that we typically do. So that being said, we have our 2 Hydrodomes that are in the bag. This is how they literally get shipped out. Again, it's a soft-sided duffel. It's got the egg crate between the two. So this is the listening dome with the wire, and this is the weighted dome over here. This dome is heavy because, again, it has the weight that you can both use with the weight, or you could take the weight off and you could use it again for side suctions by hooking up the pool pole to it. We're going to show you how we do that now. So now this is how we're going to use the domes. Remember, this is the weighted dome, this is the listening dome. So right now we're going to do an example of using the listening dome, and we're going to listen over the pool light as we're going to show you, and we're going to demonstrate right now. So it literally just hooks up to the pool pole, hook it up, clip it on. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your wire, unravel it, and you're going to hook it up to your amp. So now you're going to be hands-free listening with your headphones. Turn your amp on, and let me show you how we submerge the dome, we listen, and then we pick it back up out of the water. I'm going to take this off to describe it. So when we submerge the dome, we don't put it in like this. That's going to fight putting it in. What we want to do is bend it. And now what you could also do here, just so you know, when you take it out, you want to take it out at an angle, otherwise it's going to get rid of the suction. You could also control how much it pivots on this hinge. So you can tighten that up, and you can actually control it, so you can control the pivot. So again, what we're going to show you is how we put it in. We put it in at an angle. This way it goes in and gets completely saturated. Then we can get our air bubbles out. If you don't get the air bubbles out by turning it upside down like this, you're going to hear those air bubbles while you're actually listening. So now we're going to put on our headphones. We have it in. We have it with all our air bubbles out. The wire could get submerged, no problem. We're going to take it over to our light. Get it over the light. Then we're going to press it up, and we're going to hold this as steady as possible. So once we're over our light, we're going to wait about 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds. And what that's going to do, if the light is leaking, it's going to create that specific suction, and it's going to create that noise that we need to hear. So now we're over it for about 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and now we're going to stop and we're going to listen. Remember now, when you go to take this back out of the water after you're done listening, you don't want to take it out like this. That's going to create a vacuum, and it's going to be really hard on the actual dome itself. So what you want to do is just bend down. You want to pivot this up. It's going to release all the pressure, and now it comes out no problem. You can take it, put it up, and you can disconnect it from listening. So now we're going to show you an example of using our weighted dome. So what we have here in this spa, we have 2 bottom drains that are tied together, and we're going to listen to this. But we're going to show you what we do with the weighted dome and how we put it in and how we take it back out of the pool again. So again, remember, we have this set up on a rope. Now, if this was over a long pool, you could hook up the pool pole, put it in, and put it over exactly where you need to reach out. In this case, we have a small spa. So again, we're going to put it in at an angle, always in at an angle. And then what you want to do is turn it over to get out any possible air that might be in it. Once you do that, you're ready to set this back down again. So what we're going to do is we're going to weight it down. It's going to sit down right over this dome, and it's going to actually seal. Give it a couple of seconds to create that vacuum. Next thing we're going to do while that does seal, we're going to hook up our pool pole to the listening dome. Remember how we put this one in as well. Remember with this dome, we got to go in at an angle, never go in straight. Once we go in at an angle, we turn it upside down, and now this dome, after all the air is out, it's ready to go over where we need to listen to. So I'm just going to spot it down there for a second, then I'll hold it down when I start listening. Now I'm going to hook it up to the amp, and then I'm going to hold it down to seal it. So I'm going to set up my equipment, put my headphones on, hook it up to my amp, turn it on, and now I'm going to hold it down and seal it down. Again, you don't want to get all of that air that's out of there before you start listening. Again, you get most of it by turning it upside down. But as you can see right there, that most of the air stopped. Now what we're going to do is fire this up, and we're going to listen. Again, the sound of the noise is going to be brought in right here. This is what we're going to actually sound like. We're going to introduce it. That's not what's happening here. These two drains are not leaking, but we're going to give you the actual demonstration of the sound so you could hear what a leak is going to sound like when listening with the Hydrodome. Okay, so now that we listened and we confirmed that these aren't leaking, what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect. And again, remember, it's very important how you take these out. You want to take it out at an angle, so it gets rid of that compression, gets rid of all of that, it comes out nice and easy, unclips from the pole, pop it out, and let me show you how we do it with the weighted dome too. So again, we're going to pull it up, break the seal. Any of that air is going to come out of there. Remember, we got a little bit of air in the weight, but again, remember, we put it up at an angle, we pick it up out of the pool, ready to wrap everything back up, put it back in the duffel bag where it belongs. So when we put this back, I like to wrap up all my wires with my wire tie. What I'll do is I'll zip this on. I'll set this over here so it's nice and neat. Now with the weight, I don't usually typically put the weight. I usually keep this in the back of my truck. I don't always carry it around. It makes it easy to carry in the duffel bag without the weight. So again, you can put it in there. It's totally up to you. But what we'll do is we'll wrap up our rope. See how we do it real quick. And what I like to do is I like to keep a towel in that bag. And I have that tie for the rope. I like to keep a towel in that bag. So what I like to do is typically wipe down these domes inside and out. Just give it a quick wipe down just to keep any saturation or any crazy amount of water from getting in there. And so what I'll do is I'll pull out a pillow, put the first case in. Put my pillow back in. Then I'll wipe down my second case. Give it a quick wipe down. Remember, this stuff is all waterproof. All the wiring is waterproof. So again, water's not going to kill it, but it's never good to have too much saturation going on in there. Again, then we put this back down in there. All right, so once we have that all in there, again, our electronics for our Pro Complete or whichever kit that you have with the LT1000 is going to go back into its hard case. I like to take the towel, put it in here for a little bit of extra support. I always keep a bunch of towels on my truck for that stuff or for any of my equipment that might possibly get wet. Once we have it all set up, we're good to go. We zip it, and now we're good to move this thing on to the next job. So again, most of the important part of knowing about how to use the Hydrodomes come with when you put them in the water and how you pull them out of the water. Again, these Hydrodomes create a seal, and if you pull too hard, you can break them. They are pretty durable, but again, you don't want to fight the seal. Just put them in at an angle, take them out at an angle. The listening we explained to you, the sealing off of the dome. Remember, this pertains to pool lights, spa lights, main drains, side suctions. If you have to hold two side suctions, it is a two-man job and two-pole job. So it's important to know that. Most of the times there's a pole laying around a customer's house. Other times you can keep short poles on the truck. Good to have. For more information, visit Leaktronics.com and always check out our YouTube channel.